has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Now, we didn't know that was a scripture because, well, she wasn't reading the Bible. She was reading the horoscopes. We had a huge astrological thing in our living room. And so that was the authority that we knew. And so I never think about it now, but it was. She had every sign. I mean, our family was sign driven, okay? And so for God to come in and introduce himself like that to her, let us know that this journey was set to be unique. Most believers said, I felt the light, he loved me, I felt warm. No, this brother came up here and said, I want to let you know from the beginning. You wanted to meet the top of the food chain? You wanted to meet the apex God? You here. Ain't nothing above me. That was her introduction. And I was sitting there thinking about how, from that point forward, how she nurtured us in the Lord based on these encounters and not based on a religious structure. We didn't know theology, we didn't know anything. I always joke about how my experience in God was not religion. I was raised like ancient Israel. We were raised on the voice of the Lord. So I did not know that God's voice wasn't the leader in most people's Christian experience like that. I didn't know that until I got to Oral Roberts University. Then my mom prayed for me. She had me on her mind. Because the reality is that she was like, oh my God, what's happening to my daughter? I was like, I don't know. What's happening to this? What is this? Everybody's saying this is Christianity. What are you talking about? They talk to me about denominations. I'm hearing people for the first time say they've never heard God's voice. Not a criticism, because I understand that. Some of y'all have had that experience. This is not a criticism. It was shock therapy. Because that's when I realized the uniqueness of the prophet's spirit and all those things. Because I grew up on the voice of God. My mom heard him that day. We got to that Bible. She was able to hear God clearly. I got up off the floor, speaking in tongues, able to hear God clearly. So we had no idea. So we thought, well, that's how you know you're Christian, is that God tells you you are a Christian. You don't find it in the Bible. No one tells you at church. The Spirit of the Lord tells you, you are mine. Wow. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is great. Did God tell you that too, that you were his? So, and people are like, what are you talking about? Anyway, so our journey was so unique in that because it was driven by these encounters. It was driven by his voice. It was driven by that. So I was hearing scripture, hearing it, not reading it, at 4. And people always ask me all the time, well, how do you know you were hearing from God? Actually, the first things he told me were the things he wrote in the scriptures, like he told her. It was when we went and read that Bible, that's why she started reading it 16 hours a day. Because when she goes, wait, hold on. The stuff I'm hearing in here is in here? Oh, wait a minute. And when I got old enough to comprehend scripture, I was 8. And I started going through the Bible, because you do that in Sunday school, you go through the Bible and stuff. I said, what I'm hearing in here is in here. And made the